Hello, hello. This is Irene with SaugaTalks. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to us, and you are listening to us, I know it. You're listening to us, so please don't waste any more time. Just follow us. We're on LinkedIn. We are on X, Twitter. We are on YouTube and major podcasting platforms. We're talking about automation, AI, technology breakthroughs, digital transformation, everything and anything technology related with amazing, fascinating people in tech. Today, my guest is Steve Wandler. Steve, how are you?
I am doing so well, Irene. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure, Steve, because you know what? I get a lot of guests. I talk again about automation and an AI and enterprise setting. Okay. With you, we decided we talk about transforming education through technology. That's kind of an amazing field you're in. All right. I cannot say I'm an expert. That's why I love speaking to people who are smarter than myself. So, Steve, what do you see is happening out there in terms of ed tech, educational technology? Because we all either parents or teachers or students or stakeholders, we're people. So we want to know what's happening with educational technology right now.
Right. Well, two comments there is one is my teachers in elementary, middle, and high school would say I wasn't the smartest one, and I dropped out of high school in 11th grade. So it's interesting that I am in the education space and my passion around that. But in from an education perspective, there's so much happening in education and transformation education in technology. It's can education keep up to that? And I think that's one of the bigger challenges that we're having to face is how do we create technology that helps educators do their jobs and kids learn, uh, but at a pace that they can absorb and keep up. I mean, in the tech world, we're changing minute by minute, day by day, and some things can't change that quickly. And and look, that's a realization I really just came to and understand after my last ed tech company of doing it and what we were trying to do and the problem we were trying to solve from a technological aspect. It was transformational. We could have changed the way what we believed, changed the way what education we could do for education, but education's not wasn't ready for it. We were too far ahead of our time. And the other thing about education technology is I am not interested in removing teachers and replacing teachers with technology. I want teachers to be teaching my kids, people, not machines, not computers. And so this is about really helping teachers be teachers and do teaching things and allowing technology to make their lives easier and lower their stress levels so that they can do what they need to do, and that is teach my children. Well, my children are grown now, so, but to teach their kids, um, how to be good humans and smart humans and to do these things. But we need people to do that. Technology is just a tool.
Perfect, perfect. So how that fascinating technology will help our teachers to teach? Because if we're going like, I know, 10 years back, providing iPads or any kind of tablets at school, that was already a transformation, okay? But to me, it's so limited. It's like pushing the new tool, the technology in terms of the gadget, all right? But there is more to it, don't you think?
There is so much more to it. It's so complex. Yeah, and there's so many moving pieces because like you said at the beginning, there's one thing that we all have done and has been in education, so we think we know education, and then you also look at educators and you think the only thing they've ever done is education. And so therein lies the big problem of like how I don't even know how you solve that. I don't. Like I have ideas, but I it's so much more complex than that. And so treading the water and understanding that, again, it's not just about building the next greatest gadget or app that, math app or whatever. And there's nothing against any of those things. We need that. But again, it's why are we doing it? What are we trying to do? What are we ultimately trying to achieve? We're trying to teach kids, or at least in K-12 anyways. I'm not in the post-secondary business, and I never been. I barely made it out of K-12. Well, I went K-11. So clearly the education system, even back then, before we had computers, at least I think it failed me. It failed me. And yet, here I am, and why I'm here is because how many years later, 34 years after I have children, well, not that long after I had children left school, but as my kids were going through school, I was watching, it's like the same thing is happening to my kids as happened to me, or at least one of my kids. And I had one child, she's 24 now. She did school really well. But my son he's me times 10, and he didn't do school very well. And technology wasn't the problem. It was people. We didn't have enough resources to spend with him to learn how to learn. And I think that really is the piece that is like, how do I free up people's time to teach my kid? That's what I believe technology needs to do. And that's what this new startup that we're trying to do is free up people's time and stop wasting time that technology can solve that problem and teach my kids or our kids. Because we hear on the news about what we're doing constantly every day, and it's like, why are we teaching where we got superintendents and people and high level people dealing with this problem, which they need to, but we need to refocus their time back in the classroom.